Hi, my name is Onyeka Kumar, and I'm the founder and CEO of Farm Crowdy, a digital agriculture platform that helps small-scale farmers access funding from everyday Nigerians.
Hi, my name is Adewale Yusuf. I'm the CEO of Point Group. We are a group of companies that focuses on media. We have TechPoint, which is actually the most read technology platform in Sub-Saharan Africa. We have MediaPoint, which is focused on media production, and we have DreamPoint, which is focusing on education.
Hi, my name is Kayode Abbas. I am head of special projects at GoCada. I'm a digital marketer and a social media influencer.
Hi, my name is Femi Bakri and I'm the co-founder and CEO of Cracks TV. So Cracks TV is an online media company that caters to an audience of over 2 million people across Africa. We also help brands and SMEs connect to their target markets. And we are at the Pride Magazine Roundtable.
So let me start with, is digital the future? If yes, in your experience, why? If no, in your experience, why?
I mean, so if I'm going to take this from my own perspective, I think digital is, so when you say digital, the perspective is using technology online. And if you're doing that, then every platform that needs to scale, every platform that needs to go beyond its current geographical location to a new place. I think if you look at the opportunity that technology can present to it, embracing technology and seeing it as a future platform to use to scale businesses, of course, I think it's the future. I think it's something that people should embrace. And any industry that is not looking at doing that today, that they put themselves in a place where they are either disrupted or they become obsolete eventually. That's my own view. I know what you think about
So I believe that we can get a glimpse of the future by things that have happened in the past, and things that are happening at the moment. And at the moment, we're already saying that, digital is the next thing. We are seeing the rise of, AI. We are seeing machine learning. There's been advancements in digital technologies. Everything is going. Everyone is going digital. Everyone is talking about going digital. So, I mean, it's very, very obvious. And as Onyeka said, so if you're not moving, if you're not going forward, you're going to be obsolete, or you'll be disrupted. So, I mean, it's very obvious that digital is the future.
So, Femi, what do you think?
As far as Nigeria is concerned, I feel tech is the new oil.
Tech?
Tech. Yes, I'm sure. Why do I say that? Of course, the world in general is moving towards a low carbon future. Do you understand? And I feel like the sustainable businesses now have this tech element to them. So if you don't have tech in your business, I don't think you'll be relevant in years to come. And I also feel why I say tech is also the new oil is the barriers to entry are really low. For example, I built the Cracks TV, for example, with my mobile phone, just a smartphone. Do you understand? I had zero experience whatsoever, but with tech and digital, I was able to acquire new skills, I was able to learn new things, and of course, I'm able to build a business that employs a number of people, over 20 people. Just so imagine if we have 100, 1,000, 10,000 Nigerians doing the same thing, just using the little technological resources that they have to build large businesses. So you just imagine the multiplier effect they'll have. So yeah, tech and digital.
Yes. So
but I want to say something in that regard. I feel tech is like the refinery. The oil is data. Because if you have that refinery and you're not able to mine oil out of it, then it's as useless as that refinery can be. But data, and just like I heard you say earlier on, you have 2 million people in your platform. The tech was your mobile phone you started with, or all the other tools you had there. If you didn't have 2 million people, it's as valuable as nothing. I think it's more of data and how we use data that is the real value. I'm just.
So
For me, data is the new oil then.
Yeah, man. Data tech is the refinery.
I would like to take you guys on something. You mentioned digital, you say tech. Is there actually a difference between tech and digital? And when we actually say tech, everybody should use tech. What technology are we referring to? Are we limited to digital? Or I just want to know the difference between digital and tech. If I'm selling something by the roadside, when you say tech, what do you mean by tech to me? And how can I leverage on tech?
Tech for me would be whatever tool then gets you from point A to point B using something that has been built for whether it's hardware tool or software tool that uses the computer or uses a mobile device to enable you to do more, enable you to do something even more efficient than you would have done before. So it can also be robotics at the end of the day. I think for me that's where tech lies. The digital side of it, I think it also depends on the context of the user to determine what exactly tech is to you. Because for me now, I'm using a mobile phone. I won't consider that so much advanced tech. Because someone else will use that mobile phone and design something amazing. And he'll tell you his own tech was how he was able to use his mobile device to do X and Y. But what do you think? I mean, you do more of the writing on this.
No, for me, I just think whenever we're talking about technology, and digital, we have to be careful because we've gotten to a place that we make people look like tech is everything. Currently, we need to stay with the reality because we ask the question: is digital the future? Yes, it's the future, but what is today? As much as digital is making a great impact, we need to understand what actually drives the digital to what it is, which is actually at every stage in evolution, and revolution itself, there had to be something that actually pioneered it. We are still in the phase of talking about digital, especially in Africa, looking at digital like, mobile phone or there. But now people are going beyond that. People are actually using technology, not digital again. And that was what I was trying to point out. Because now technology has become cheap. It has become, this is a smartwatch. It's reading my heart rate, all those things. You might not say it's not digital because I'm not interacting with it, but there's a way it actually works because it's technology eating my body and all those things. So when we talk about digital, we need to know where we are going. So technology for me is the future, not digital. So it's totally different.
But in that context, what are the most important, now you've painted what digital is, what are the most important digital skills young Nigerians should be aiming for today?
So there are a lot, and to be honest, when it comes to Nigeria, with the situation of things we are, the only opportunity that we have that our parents don't actually have is the technology. Because you can be here, you can still be learning about machine learning. You can be with a professor in UK or US teaching people on how to actually do something. For example, I was having a conversation with a friend in the UK, and we were looking at the 5G network, how it's going to revolutionize things. You will be in Nigeria here with your VR and you will be participating in classes because that's the speed of internet. So when we are talking about skills, is unlimited. What you can get big data, data science. Those are actually just data that you can actually explore. Digital marketing used to, I remember when we were having some offline conversation when you said, you had just digital marketing, your bio, and it's actually a big deal now. A lot of people are actually getting that skills now.
Yeah, correct that. That was in 2008.
That was in 2008.
Not now.
So all I'm saying is, just imagine 2008, that was 11 years ago. What is happening now? So when we talk about skills, don't get the skills that is just, don't be static. Just keep evolving because your skills are going to change. Everything, your industries are changing. So that's where I think there are a lot of skills outside. Just think, what is next? Because the moment The digital we know that we know mobile phone, you know social media, is going to change with 5G network because you have internet that is at speed. You can like stream anything from anywhere. So we are not going to be using VR more. You're going to use your wristwatch and different stuff. But for me, those are the skills. That is what I would say about skills. But maybe they can help us.
I agree with what you've said, Wale, and so I wanted to before you answered that question, I wanted to actually mention some skills, but saying what you said really has changed my mind, my pattern of thoughts. So the thing is, the technology is evolving, right? So the digital landscape as we know it today would change in another 5 to 10 years. So exactly. So if we tell the young ones now to learn this skill now, when it's 5 to 10 years time, that skill might become outdated or obsolete or irrelevant. So the future belongs to those that can spot the trend and then upskill themselves, learn those skills. So I remember when I was graduating from the university, so that was the period when digital marketing and a lot of these skills were hot. They were not really hot, so to say, but that was the future. So I studied political science, and so a lot of my colleagues that we finished together, all of them, everybody was heading to the same direction. And I just saw this opportunity, digital marketing, not really, a lot of people were not looking in that direction and everything. And believe you me, my first job was from, the courses I took and everything. Otherwise, I would have just been jobless. I still have people that are still at home. We graduated together, still at home. And, recently, one of them even chatted me up on Facebook. They're like, do you have an internship in your organization and all that? So imagine if, one didn't see ahead and, got those skills. I'll probably just be at home or be in one government job that is not paying, so we cannot just say, okay, acquire the skills and acquire, but look ahead, see what's happening now.
Do we then say the most important skill is mapping trends and understanding trends?
The most important skill would be observation, then you should be able to analyze, the trends. Then you should have like prediction, skills. You should know.
So for instance, now everybody's talking about artificial intelligence. People are more scared about the jobs that it will take over. Yeah. I tell people, who are the people that will manage or create that artificial intelligence tool? Today, an artificial intelligence engineer is one of the most sought after, which means is one of the most paid jobs in the world today. And the few people that have spotted this trend 3 years ago, 4 years ago, that are already engineers are the ones benefiting today. You were talking about that digital marketing. I was saying in 2008, 2009, for me, I was a web designer at that point in time. But I noticed people weren't seeing those websites. I didn't know the word was digital marketing. I just felt there should be a way of marketing these websites. And one was able to look ahead and then plan for this. And then I found myself in a place where I said that on LinkedIn, there were only 2 other people that said they were online marketing experts in the whole of the country. So it's about spotting those trends and then positioning yourself with the skills necessary to become a highly sought after individual.
And for me, beyond these trends, there's a thing which I noticed is every next technology trend is built on the previous one.
Yeah.
Now it's time for you to actually get into something, learn a code. For me, I think the most important skill is the ability to learn and unlearn, because the future one is going to be built on what we have today. Yeah. 5G is actually built on 4G. People just think this thing can be better. We can actually improve it. Let's improve this thing. So that's the skills, because beyond trends, people are still creating that trend. The people are still going to create it. But once we are open Every day I tell my team, like, we don't know much. We need to learn. We want to know. Because curiosity, I think curiosity is just the best skill.
So I agree with all you've said. The part of learning, because there'll be something new at every point in time. So being able to learn quickly and unlearn is very key. Also, the analytical skills are also very key. So one thing that I would like to add is problem solving. People knowing how to solve, they'll reap the problems till the end of time. Do you understand? So training yourself to be able to solve problems. Do you understand? And then I would advise. I feel it's important if like the common people take. Basics of programming, for example, because I feel just basic programming, just understanding programming. Because I feel what that does is it sharpens your problem solving and analytical skills. So for me, it does that. So learning how to learn and learn, then basic programming to sharpen your problem solving and analytical skills.
But one other thing again is people get scared about the jobs that may become obsolete as a result of the use of technology. I mean, in your own opinion, what do you think are the perceived dangers that this digital world will present as we move towards the era of?
Can I take that? Okay, so let me give you an example. At my company, for example, we create content. We also curate. And the way the creation works is, because we have like a diverse audience, over 1.7 million followers on Instagram, for example, so you can't just post anything. So you have to like find the very best content. So the way we're currently doing now is you have people going online and searching for the best content. It's tedious. Over time, we've been working on like a tech solution, more like something that could just scrape the entire web and give us the best content. I'm saying if was something like that were available and affordable, I would definitely pay for it. But then what happened to the jobs of the current curators? So these are the risks. This is like a real life example that's still my business.
Well, do you call it a risk? I think it's the thing of unlearning and relearning. It's just like when typewriters were the in thing, and everybody used to use a typewriter, and then it moved from that to business center was the in thing, and you want to send an email, you had to go to business. So businesses started flourishing, business started growing, and then people started typing fast. And now you have kids that are growing up that at the age of 2 or 3, they don't know what a keyboard is. They only know what touch screens are. And that tells you where the age is going. So I think it's for you as an individual, you got to unlearn and relearn new things, and so that you continue to stay relevant, even as the world keeps moving. Even at 75, I'm sure there will be things that will come up that I want to learn, because I wouldn't want to be at that place where my grandchildren start playing tricks on me, and I don't know what they're saying.
So for me, which I actually agree with you, the first, second industrial revolution during the factory workers' day, there were a lot of fears then that, this automation, these factories are going to take jobs. It takes jobs and it still creates jobs for most people. Up till now, these things are going to come and go. They are going to come and go with career. The people that are just going to take advantage of it is people that are well positioned to take the next opportunity, to take an advantage of what's going to happen. But for me, my primary fear is actually humanity itself. What is going to change us? We can't compete with robots by doing what robots could do. We can only compete with them by doing what human can do that robots cannot do. Most of them is actually emotional intelligence and a lot of things, and we're losing touch as humans, and it's going to be getting worse.
We're becoming more like robots, and robots are becoming more like humans.
So there's something I put in my profile that I'm interested in humanity ecosystem. People used to take me on that what does it mean? We are getting to a place that we've forgotten that is human at the other end. I showed you a post of someone that we wrote about, and people were coming to bash him, forgetting all the good work he has done. And a lot of people are actually going through depression now based on that, because all you see is an account. You've forgotten that account is actually owned by someone that's going to get real feedback, that your feedback is going to make an impression on that person. A lot of people are on Twitter just to clap back on people, so you can get a lot of retweets and a lot of these things. So that humanity part is my fear. How we are actually losing touch.
Yeah.
As a human, we are now becoming robot. You go on the road, this is how you type. You don't even know your. I don't know my next door neighbor. And people online, some people will know this is where you are at a particular.
But talking of your next door neighbor, some people are dating, right?
Yeah.
And they started the relationship online. And they go to the hall to have food to eat. And both of them are sitting down, and they will tell themselves they would rather be chatting online than talking with each other. It tells you how far we've gone in that regard. So the part of the neighbor thing, I think we're all guilty of that.
Exactly. So the humanity part, which I don't know, maybe you guys are concerned about that, but we are
That's a major
becoming this robot, and we can never. Let me tell you, there's no how good you are that you will do a job more than a robot, because it's automated. Whatever you do is just a language that's going to run through everything before you check one by one. So the way to beat most of these robots is be human.
Interesting.
So I don't know if you guys think. So that's for me. Jobs are going to come and go. Trust me. It's just about positioning yourself. Know what is yet. The job you're doing now, you created an industry, right? It wasn't there some years ago. There are jobs we are doing now. Like if you say, "Oh, yeah, digital marketers," people will look at, "What is this?" So there are a lot of jobs are going to be created. But the humans, are we still going to get ourselves? That's my major concern. Our children, how do we even parent them now? And we live in a global world, like, it's just too crazy. I mean, this week, my team, they were having an argument. I mean, my developers were building something and they wanted to put gender, because I now told them put male, female, others. And they were like, no, there have to be two genders. I said, no, we have 63 genders.
You have what?
63. Yeah, we have 63 genders in the world now, yes.
63?
Yes, 63. So it's actually an insult if you actually put male and female. And let me tell you, we are the last generation to know that female and male. That's it.
That raises a very interesting conversation around also how people look at the perspective of the digital age being, if you say 63, so you call one gender male.
Yeah.
People say how the digital industry is more male dominated than female, but how do you mix that with 63?
So for now, go and Google it anywhere. We have 63 genders, and all I'm saying is, well, most of these genders, they've been there before. It's just because we don't know, because we don't have a place. We live in a global village now. You don't have a place. Your children are going to have more friends than you.
Okay, but let me bring it to context around the question. It's more on, you have more men in tech than women in tech.
Yes.
I mean, Femi, I don't know how it is. Although in my organization, it's roughly about 50-50. We're a team of 55 in Farm Crowd, and it's roughly about 50% men, 50% women on the team. So it's not really, and it's not, we didn't set out to just recruit based on gender as a criteria. But today we find ourselves in a place where there's that sense of equality and balance when it comes to gender. But how do you deal with that whole notion that, see, it seems like there are more men in tech than women in tech? I think I'll ask more from Femi and...
Okay, so I think in my line of work, I think it's more of what you can do. For example, we have, I think one of our very best female video editor is a female, for example. Do you understand? And even when we recruit, we don't say, oh, we want a guy for his role, we want a girl for his role. It's more of who's best suited for the job. Do you understand? Yeah, just that. I think that's the case everywhere else. Do you understand? So I don't know. So if they're now like more, there's a higher male representation than the female, then it's not a case of, oh, we're just hiring female, we need to hire more female. It's just more of, okay, what could be the possible problem? Do you understand? Is there a knowledge gap? Is there, I don't know, is there like an environmental factor that could be affecting things like this? So it's just more of, we need to look inward and try and figure out the cause of the problem. Yeah, so I feel that's like basically what we need to do, in my opinion. Kind of.
So, well, I actually think that we are tilting towards a more neutral or even more female dominated, because women have, I mean, they are being given a lot of opportunities of recent, and even some organizations even go as far as hiring just for gender balance. Like, okay, we want, gender balance, we want men and 50% men and women. So I think we still need to, if there was a census conducted a while back that, the industry is male dominated, I think they need to do another check. It's the truth, because nowadays what I'm saying is like a lot of women are getting into digital. Like, for example, I'm a member of a couple of digital marketing groups, and 60-70% are women. I don't know if you know IZ. IZ, yeah, she's very, very popular. She's a digital marketing person. She's a woman. A lot of other, amazing women doing a lot of things. So I think that statistics might have gotten outdated. So whoever is doing the census, the counting should go back and, recount, because now it's more balanced than it used to be.
That's nice.
Okay.
So talking of balance, how do you guys think government can encourage the growth in digital industry?
For me, one of the things that happened in 2018 was where the vice president of Nigeria did that tech tour of going to a couple of tech startups. He also came to the Farm Crowdy office. And I think that was very encouraging to see someone at that level coming to the startups to understand what the startups are and spending time with them. I mean, I think the average spent in each office was between 45 minutes to an hour. So it wasn't just a ceremonial visit. It was something of, I want to understand what exactly people are doing and how we can support you. That was very encouraging. I think more of that should happen. Okay. Second is, I think there should be a tech bill that should protect startups when they launch as businesses, where founders that are building tech-related solutions are given some kind of cover away from the structures that already exist, in order to allow them at least show potential in their area before they are clamped on. And so I'm speaking about this from a place where I think we should do a bit more around encouraging these startups to. So one of the things I noticed I think it's in Canada, I'm not sure, is where if you start up a new venture, you get supported by the government by, I think it's up to $50,000.
Yeah, Canada.
It's Canada, right? You get that as your first seed capital to kick off on a good note, not like the best, but at least good enough note. And then there are policies that are put in place of how you recruit, to make sure you recruit local people, to make sure how you set up. And then there are tax rebates, and there's so many other initiatives that. So, for instance, the place we are in now is the Eternal Hub. Stuff like this is set across in the states or in the country to support many other startups, and this is done consciously from the government's table. So I think those are things that should be done to encourage, from my perspective, they should be done to encourage them. And then my own whole thing is, talk more about startups, talk more about digital platforms, talk more about the entrepreneurs from a government perspective. They should showcase their own. The reason why we love Silicon Valley is because the government of the United States allowed the Californian government to showcase Silicon Valley, and it is a major export from the US. The Chinese are doing this now, the Indians have done it, Kenyans are doing it as well. And from a conscious effort of the government doing that, where they're consistently showcasing their own, it makes more people want to get into the sector and do more. It attracts investors from outside the country. So you see more FDI, foreign direct investment, coming to these startups because there's the reputation of that government showcasing that startup. I think Those are, for me, three things that should be done more. Yeah.
Interesting. Anybody?
I think just to add to what you said, I think we should also have like government-backed startups. Or is that, I mean, because I'm aware that, I mean, even in the US, there are government-backed, you know, startups like.
It's really that they are government-backed. All this, the entrepreneur built a startup and I went to the government and said, I want you to participate with me on this project, and they are willing to.
Okay, so like Elon Musk's, the space, it's backed by NASA.
But he didn't. I don't think he started out going to say, "I'm backed by NASA." I think he started the idea, and then they supported. So.
And another thing which I noticed happen in other countries is actually the government find a way to fund these startups.
Yes,
not just fund, they even give them
projects. Yeah.
There was a time we wrote something about government, how to actually get a contract from government as a startup. We know you will definitely die there because you can't get it. What they want you to bring, you know, you a startup that just started 3 years, 4 years, you can't get. They will be asking you for some tax, this thing.
Audited reports for the last 5 years.
So those things can actually, you can't. And you as a startup, you know some pain points that you can actually automate for these people that you can actually do for them. So I think they need to encourage that as well.
But also, I think we should also commend them too for the recent this thing they did, making it easy to register your business. Ease of doing business. Like I think with like 5,000 thereabouts, it used to be very, very expensive and very difficult to register a business. But now, if you have so I think we should.
To be honest, as you blame them, you need to give them.
You cannot exactly
because Nigeria is one of the most digital platforms. Trust me. When it comes to platform, the CAC document. I have a friend that wanted to do something from the UK. I said, just go to the CAC platform. Most of your
and you can do everything
you can
online.
Even I have a friend that posted recently how he could go to. She was in France and she wanted to renew her passport. She just went online, do this thing, and she entered one of the Nigeria agencies there. So we need to give respect to them as much as possible. They have to do that.
Yeah.
What I feel the government can do is invest heavily in electrical and internet infrastructure. Because I feel if we have 24 hours electricity supply, I'm sure many entrepreneurs would perform.
Not just that, I think basic infrastructure in general.
If we invest heavily in especially our fiber optic network, for example, I think fiber optic is, of course, it's capital intensive, but the quality is better and it's also cheaper in the long term. Like in my estate, for example, I pay 10K. But then the internet is unlimited. I get speeds of up to 20 Mbps. That's slow, like there, but that's a bit fast. Let's not mention names. Okay. Did you understand? Yeah, did you understand? But I'm gonna say, well, these guys, I think they invested in fiber optic. So imagine if they did this all around Lagos, all around Nigeria. Do you understand? Now we're paying a lot of money for very crappy internet service. Do you understand? Our business, for example, is mostly internet driven, so we like expend a lot of data. Do you understand? Where we're at now, there's no fiber there, so we spend like a lot of money on it. So the government needs to just fix these two things, in my opinion: power and the internet infrastructure.
We'll fix the rest.
Yeah, and we the entrepreneurs will take it upon ourselves to fix every other thing.
So what tools exist for today's career professionals, entrepreneurs? Or what tools do you use?
My number one tool is Google Calendar. If you ask me what tools do I use, but yeah, for digital skills, one of the very important things Femi talked about was people have to build themselves with programming skills. People have to be able to spot trends. You got to open your eyes to observe, like you said, around what exists today and where's the industry going to, and how do you build yourself in those skills ready for that. The other thing is you got to know how to communicate. You got to know how to sell.
What tools do you use for communication?
For communication, so if I have an opinion about a topic, I go on Twitter and say what I want to say. I use that for communication. I use in my normal email writing tools, there's a tool called Grammarly.
Grammarly, yeah.
So I use Grammarly to make sure my words are properly done. When it comes to communication, also I also use LinkedIn. I use LinkedIn to not just for career stuff, but also in saying some things I want to say. Yeah.
So for me, I think I use number one is Slack for the team.
Or Slack.
That's where we use to communicate everything anywhere you can work from there. Then all the Google Doc, spreadsheets,
Yeah.
everywhere from there you use to collaborate with your team, always there. Then the other one, yeah, email. Email as a tool is the most important
I
one.
also use WhatsApp a lot. I create all sorts of WhatsApp groups instead of doing Slack. For some people that don't want to do Slack, Slack is more when it's work related, and then the Google Documents. Which tools you use?
So I have a couple of tools. I mean, for social, I have social tools, Facebook, Instagram. Then we have social media management tools like Buffer, there's Sprout Social, there are a couple of them. Communication, email, Gmail, productivity, I use Trello, Trello,
Slack.
yeah, Slack. What's the name of this? Evernote. Very, very good. Very, very good tool. Yeah. So then for career people, I mean, if you're not on LinkedIn, then you're on the long tail. I mean, so you have to be on the platform.
Okay. For resources, educational resources, YouTube is very key. Content there is free and educative. There's also of Coursera, EDX, and a bunch of other platforms like that. Productivity, yeah, I like that you mentioned Trello. Yeah, but I prefer Wunderlist. Wunderlist, yeah, it's a Microsoft app, which is really awesome. So I think for people that in this fast-paced world, to be able to be organized and organize your to-do list, I think it's very, very key. Then I don't know if it's more like I think tools that help you like with meditation, because the world is crazy now. Do you understand? Like apps like Headspace, Calm, they help you meditate and just relax. I feel very key. Then for communication, I prefer Telegram to WhatsApp and those other ones. So I'm a Telegram ambassador. I pass to do a video release. So yes, I feel what Telegram does is you don't have to give out your number. They can send you a message via anybody can reach you via username. And the groups, you can have up to 200,000 members on a Telegram group. You can access your Telegram anywhere. You don't need your phone, websites, mobile app, on your tablet. It's a Telegram. It's awesome. That's where we work from, like our office. So we have like different groups. There's a workplace by Facebook too. It's a Slack competitor. I think it's free and it works really well for me. So along with all the other things that you guys have mentioned.
Well, I think for me, one thing I need to add is my Audible.
Oh yeah, for books.
Like monthly subscription.
Blinkist.
Yeah, I've heard of Blinkist too.
It summarizes the books.
I know, but I just love to listen to books everywhere I go to. Anytime I go to Audible. So yeah.